So if you've been anywhere around Twitter in the last couple of days, then you've probably seen there's a situation going on with this anime YouTuber. If you don't know who this is, he's called Chibi Reviews. He makes a lot of anime videos on a lot of different anime, especially a lot of the seasonal stuff that comes out. And honestly, I do really enjoy his content. I think a lot of his, content is very important to talk about in the anime community. And he just covers a ton of different stuff. From things he enjoyed about story to some other more controversial topics and, some kind of more political stuff that goes on in anime. I know that's kind of surprising to hear, but there is some stuff where people get annoyed at certain scenes or certain shots or certain storylines and stuff like that, which he actually goes into detail and talks about and kind of gives his own opinion on it. Recently, one post on his Twitter page has absolutely blown up and actually gotten him into some quite big trouble. And the Twitter post started with this. If you don't know, Dandan is a new anime that is aired literally just the other day. It's a very cool anime. I've actually read quite a few volumes of this and I can say it's great. I think Science Sorrow are really going to cook with a lot of the animation and stuff, especially in future episodes. And he put out this tweet saying the animators didn't need to go so hard for this one. And pretty much they play the scene with Momo being, let's just say, interrogated and had stuff almost done to her in a scene. And obviously a lot of people weren't very happy with this because he said they didn't need to go hard for this whenever it's literally, pretty much borderline sexual assault, being shown in a scene. Now, I can kind of get where he's coming from. Obviously, Science Sorrow did really cook with the scene. Like, I don't think it's really undeniable that they have had a lot of artistic passion, especially throughout the entire show, and also this scene in particular. The color scheme and everything is super, super nice. And I think that is the kind of perspective that he's going for, rather than the whole actual theme of it and what was actually going on in it. Because, again, if you've watched the episode, it doesn't actually happen. There's this whole cool fight scene, which I actually think is very, very cool, and I can understand where he's coming from. But obviously, a lot of people took this the wrong way, and obviously, he's entitled to his own opinion, even if he does like that stuff. You can kind of argue whether he does or not. I don't know, honestly, you can think whatever yourself, but you can see this got 16.2 million views with only 36,000 likes. So obviously, a lot of people just did not like this at all. And the replies were going crazy, saying, you anime creatures are disgusting, this is so messed up, is she okay? And stuff like that. Now, I don't know how many people have actually watched this episode and know what happens next, because obviously nothing really actually happens to her and she's fine. But the thing is, this triggers a lot of people, especially on Twitter. Now, obviously, if you've been on this Twitter at any point, you can see that he does kind of do these posts, which almost kind of rage bait. Whether this is intentional or not intentional, he does post some controversial posts out there, which a lot of people don't like, and this tends to happen quite a lot. Now, he's been getting comments and, quote retweets like this, saying, 7k people threatened to unalive me over an anime post, I think I'm loved. And then he puts a post here of some guy saying petition to stone this guy, which again is absolutely crazy. Like, you should be calling for someone to be stoned just because they had an opinion about an anime. Because let's be real here, it's about an anime. This isn't real. This is just a bunch of drawings, which obviously I know is an excuse that some other people use. But at the same time, I don't think you need to deep it too much to the point where you're threatening to unalive people over it. Now, obviously, you can call people weird, say that, oh, like, what are you talking about? I think that's totally fine. And I think people really need to have that conversation whenever it comes to that. But I think just straight up threats and, threats of death, threats of violence or whatever, obviously is going a little bit too far whenever it comes to anime and a made up thing. And obviously he goes on with a lot of these tweets saying Dandadan is already gatekeeping people, you love to see it. And again, so many people are getting very, annoyed by a lot of his posts. And I think, at this point, it is kind of intentional what he's doing. And then he goes on to say, mask off for a moment, do I rage bait intentionally? Honestly, I don't really try to at all. People say, but you make your post about gatekeeping or talking about controversy. At first, it's an innocent post, only meant to talk about the wild moments in a series. But when I do get people upset and they flood my notifications, of course I'm going to farm the engagement. Why wouldn't I? I'd turn a bad situation into money. So again, it seems like a lot of these posts, especially that first initial one, doesn't seem like he's trying to rage bait at all. I think honestly, he's just giving his opinions on anime, which a lot of people do. And if you've been in the anime community or even just kind of like similar communities, obviously some of you may be more in the kind of gacha community. If you say one game's better than another, or you say one anime is better than another, then the anime community tend to get a lot more heated over that than maybe that of like the film community or something like that, who, kind of have a disagreement, but don't go as far as death threats, which is absolutely insane. And pretty much this got escalated even further into him actually being doxxed. He actually put a tweet up yesterday saying, and someone officially doxed my real information. Also, they mocked my dead brother that committed suicide. You know who you are, and I'm going to speak to my lawyer now. So it seems like someone over this post, over these, I don't know, maybe this post or the series of posts that he's posted about Dandan has actually doxed him, found his home, and mocked his dead brother, which obviously is the most insane thing to do. And honestly, obviously no matter what the situation was, even if Chibi Reviews did something absolutely horrible, it makes you even more of a worse person to do this kind of thing, because obviously, this guy, I'm pretty sure he has a family. You're kind of putting a lot of them in danger. You're putting him in danger, which again is totally not okay. And obviously, obviously death threats and that happen all the time, and some of them, are just kind of baseless, and it's just someone DMing you on Twitter, which again doesn't really mean anything, because they're not actually going to come over and like kill you or something like that. But again, they just have that much hatred, whereas actually doing something and acting upon it and showing his house is kind of messed up. Now, I have been saying showing his house, and I've realized that this isn't actually included in his tweet, but he does later on clarify. He says, FYI, they leaked actual pictures of my house and brother's grave, so I don't feel safe right now, which obviously is totally, that's normal. You wouldn't feel safe if someone had a picture of your house and your brother's grave. And again, I think that's totally messed up that they've actually gone for his brother here. Like, it's one thing leaking pictures of the house, but also going after, his dead brother. Like, why would you do that? Like, that's got to be some kind of like messed up stuff going on in that person's brain. Like just even doxing alone, you got to be kind of messed up to do that. And obviously we've had a lot of situations in the past with streamers of doxing and kind of like swatting people on live streams. Like, that's just messed up on itself. But doing all of this other stuff over an anime post is absolutely crazy. And obviously it's not okay to do. And we've seen a lot of cases of this happen in a lot of other communities too. I've seen it happen in the gacha community and stuff like that as well. And obviously, doxing and doing all of this stuff is a step too far. Now, obviously, as I said, you can disagree with his opinion. You can say you don't like him, or you could just block him, I don't care what you think about Chibi Reviews. I don't care if you think he's good, if you think he's bad. Obviously, this is taking it way too far. And yeah, obviously, if you don't like his opinions or you don't like what he posts, then just block him. Don't look at his tweets. Just mute him or whatever. It's that easy. Instead of doing stuff like this and going the extra mile to dox him and show pictures of his house and stuff like that, it's just kind of messed up, and no sane person would do this. And obviously, Chibi Reviews has been farming this a lot more as well by saying, my official response to the personal information being doxed, having this timestamped and dated for evidence alongside my police report, I'll be opening up a lawsuit for doxing of my private information and defamation from the same individuals. So it seems like he knows exactly who's actually done this. He's taking them to court or writing a police report or whatever. So hopefully these people actually get caught, because again, it's a scary thing. You don't know who's going to come up to your house or who's going to go to your brother's grave. Just from the house thing, obviously, you could be attacked, robbed or whatever. People might come over to your house, and that's going to be a terrible thing. But also like revealing his brother's grave and stuff like that. Imagine like he goes to visit it one day and is absolutely destroyed because someone actually managed to dox this kind of stuff. Again, both situations will be absolutely terrible for him, and I feel really sorry for him, because again, it's just an opinion on an anime. It's really not that deep, and I think a lot of people really need to get a grip on like, what's going on, what's actually important, Instead of spending so much time on Twitter and kind of, attacking people just for having an opinion on an anime. And it doesn't matter how nuclear or how insane it is, you just don't go doing this stuff, because that's the worst thing to do. But hopefully we see, some kind of justice for this, and these people actually do get caught, and, the police or the lawsuit, actually goes through and works, because again, it's really terrible that this stuff is happening, and it seems like there are a few people that are actually contributing to this. I think he was saying some creators were actually involved with this in, giving his information to these people that went and doxed him, which again, I think is even more terrible, because he's obviously trusted these people with his private information, and then they've gone and leaked it publicly online. So again, yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see. Obviously, he's going to be a little bit tied up in what information he can actually give now, seeing as he's, opened up a lawsuit and talked to his lawyers. So again, it's going to be kind of hard for him to actually disclose a lot of this information in the future. But what we do know is that he's been doxed. All of this kind of stuff has been doxed over this post and over, a series of posts about Dandadan, which again, I just think is absolutely crazy. And hopefully this kind of proves as a point, especially in the anime community, and also, in similar communities like the gacha community, stuff like that this kind of stuff gets stopped, because it seems like these people have been caught, they know exactly who it is. So hopefully it does deter a lot of people from actually doing this in the future, not just to him, but to other creators as well. And yeah, I just think overall this is a absolutely insane situation that I wanted to talk about. Obviously, I know this isn't my kind of like usual video I put on the More channel. I'm going to try to add a couple of these videos of me talking about other situations to do with like the anime community and stuff like that, which I just find interesting to me, because obviously I follow Chibi Reviews, I know who he is, I know what he does, kind of thing, and it is kind of crazy to see a lot of this happening. And I also, watch a lot of Dandadan, I watch a lot of anime as well, and it's interesting to see this happening in the anime community. Obviously, it's had a long history of this kind of stuff happening, but to see it happening now, and to someone that I, follow, and someone that I, see a lot of opinions about, it's crazy to see, and I just really wanted to make a video on this. I'll leave a link down below to the video of him explaining everything to do with it, because obviously there's a little bit more information in that YouTube video. So I definitely recommend going to go check that out. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.